Hello, is anybody there? Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me? How is everybody? Barbara is here. She's just gone to get a drink because I've been making her talk because I'm mean. But do come and say hello, assuming you're there. That would be nice. Yes, that would be super nice. Just having a I feel like sometimes I do this. I try to do far too many things all at once. Anybody there? Sue, hello, lovely to see you. You've got a crown and a number one, which has got to make you feel good, I reckon. There I am. Why can't I find it? Anyway, how is everybody? Who has some news? Who has something interesting to tell me? Is there anybody other than me and Sue watching? It's just us, Sue. We could have a lovely little chat. Do you know what? We're doing something a little bit different today, which hopefully will be kind of fun. That's certainly the plan. So, yeah, it should be good. Let me just make sure I don't do anything weird. In the meantime, I wouldn't put it past me again.
Hello!
Are you back?
I'm back. I've got my water, got my crackers, and the dogs all have their toppers. So we should be good.
So we're all good. Excellent. Splendiferous. The world is well again.
We've got a nice topic today, hey? Did you say that
I was
already?
just saying it's going to be a little bit different today, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my
But we
God,
also
that's
have,
smoke. Sorry, I was just saying to Barbara, just telling everybody else, there's one of my neighbours is having a bonfire just over the other side of my garden fence, and it's getting very big and very black and a little bit scary. So if I run off and squeal, that's why. It's because my house is on fire. So I'm hopeful at the moment. I'm pretty hopeful.
so we had a couple questions.
We
Three, in
did.
fact, that were posted in the Facebook group. So raise the roof. We're super happy. Thank you so much, guys, for posting questions. It's kind of validating. If nobody posts questions, I feel like everybody knows this shit anyway. What are we doing? Why are we?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's the point? But anyway,
So great. Now we can do a little bit of detective work. Shall we do those first and then go to our fun Mythbuster topic? I've
I
got
have
ready.
great news. Nicole is here as well.
Yay! Because Nicole also posted it.
Nicole has one of the questions, so that's
Yes,
fabulous.
one of our fabulous moderators. Thank you so much for all you do in the group, Nicole. You are fab.
Absolutely.
Okay, do you want to read out the first question? Because
We've
I
got three questions.
we have three. I haven't got the YouTube thingamabob open and I can't see if there are any comments. And I want to see. I want to see the
We've got
comments.
Sue saying hi,
Hi, Sue.
and we've got Nicole said hi,
Hello, Nicole. Um,
and we may have some other things now. No, we're good. That's it at the moment. Right, let's go for the first question, which was Cheryl Harris. I'm planning on bringing home a female mini American Shepherd puppy. Yay! I have a reactive muzzle-trained Boston Terrier. I'd welcome suggestions for what worked for you to make the introduction successfully. The vet gave me some trazodone if I think he'll need it. He's very dog reactive, but loves my other Boston. I think this is one for you, really, because you've done much more doggo intros than I have recently.
True. I did a couple just recently, didn't I?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Right. So this was posted before the weekend, I think.
Yeah,
Pretty
pup should
sure
be home by
Cheryl,
now.
yeah, Cheryl's right in the middle of it.
Eee.
And first of all, super congratulations, Cheryl.
Yes,
Nothing more
congratulations on the new pup
exciting.
family.
How
Woo!
cute. is
I
a baby
know.
Boston. Oh no, it's a baby
Mini,
mini.
it's a mini am. And
Mm,
they are super
mini
cute. They're little and
Aussie.
fluffy and gorgeous.
Yeah. So
I can picture it.
okay. And first of all, the male Boston, that's already living. I'm not entirely sure how many there are. So there's definitely one other. And then he is very dog reactive, but loves my other Boston. So there might be a couple dogs, hey? I mean, a few dogs. So, and that's definitely great. And I think it's very different, reactivity outside, when we go to places, when we go to trials, or when we go to the park or on walks, etc. With, the dog's reaction to strange dogs, that's very different from at home,
Yes,
don't you think? Yeah. So that's the
definitely.
first thing. So that's definitely in your favor. And then some dogs don't like puppies.
Hattie, for example,
Yeah.
doesn't approve.
My Nawa is not very fond of puppies. Even when he was a puppy, I remember taking him to dog events and there were other pups and dogs, and he'd be more interested in people, interacting
Yeah.
with people than with dogs. Not that he was shy, but he just didn't seem to be interested. Um, Anyway, and then the reason why adult dogs can be not so in love with puppies is because puppies are a pain in the ass, quite.
They are. And they've got no manners yet. They don't
Yeah,
understand the rules.
they're super active, they're unpredictable, they move a lot, they're kind of, they can be a little bit like, woo, okay, that's not very scientific, Barbara. They can be unpredictable, they can be a little bit threatening. And so if that's the case, no worries. As I said, my Noah is a bit like that, and yet, successfully introduced first Falky as a puppy and then the little Fiegel here, Stevie. And Cheryl had some fabulous support already in the group. So again, a
Absolutely.
huge shout out to everybody. Don't see it in front of me, so let me name some names. So Pat gave some good advice, and there was somebody else. Um, and Na- um, and Nancy, and everyone basically advising Cheryl to just use a lot of management, put up, keep the puppy in an X pen, and when you do let them interact, maybe only after a few days, if you haven't, tried it already, give them just a chance to get used to each other through the fence. And what I did with mine is because the puppy soon started getting a little bit, Falky started to sort of lunge a little bit at Nawa. Not so much, it wasn't, when he moved around, I think it was barrier frustration more than anything, but that can be unpleasant for the dog on the other side, and vice versa. Of course, the adult dog might be, some aggressive displays on their side of so lunging at the fence, or, if there's food or a toy, emotions can sometimes run a little high. So if you can have a double barrier,
Yep.
that can be useful in the case, if you really need it. But let's assume for the best puppy is nice and quiet little fella, and your other dog is just like, oh yeah, okay, there's a puppy. Make sure that they both have enough chew toys. Make sure that you're always there to supervise when they can potentially interact in the same space, even though the puppy's behind X-Pen or Baby Gate. Be there to supervise, and make sure that when the adult dog, I suppose it goes for both, but especially if you're worried about your older dog, make sure that whenever he encounters the puppy, whenever you go past with the puppy to take the puppy out to potty, toss the older dog a few cookies,
Yes.
right? So that there is no it's just to build positive associations. That will be my tip. And then as they grow older, feel free to post again, but there are, a few little things that you can do. Teach them each, if you do crate games, that's great, of course. Otherwise, if you teach like a boundary, I think a lot of people call it, just mat, staying on a mat. And then you can have records off and sandbags to the mat and calm sort of little games with both of them present,
Yeah,
right?
I'm agreeing with everything.
Mm. Right. I hope
Agreeing
that
with absolutely everything.
answers.
And the other thing, I think sometimes when you get a puppy, it's tempting, isn't it, to blame the older dog and protect the younger dog,
Good point. Good
you
point.
know?
Then
Whereas
very
the younger
often it,
dogs are really irritating, and the older dog's response could be appropriate.
yes, yes. So I think the biggest mistake, oh, I mean, there's many mistakes that one can make, but one that I come across quite a bit is that people get so upset with an adult dog that is not nice to a puppy.
Mm,
As if I think there is a belief that that's kind of built into the adult dog that the youth has to be protected. And I don't think that holds.
yeah, I
Not
agree.
with every individual for sure.
Yeah, just
So,
supervise, watch, you know,
and don't scold, don't ever
don't
scold.
don't scold
People.
anybody. Yeah, understand.
Just see what's going on and then just rearrange the environment. So as long as you control the environment, set them up for success, you should be fine. Cool.
Okay.
So I hope that answers it, Cheryl. And if you have questions, follow-ups, and please, please, can we see a picture of the new puppy? Drop us a photo, please, 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 and let us see the gorgeous one in all its
Oh,
glory.
Nicole, if you're still on, if you wouldn't mind putting a link to the live underneath Cheryl's post, that would be so helpful.
Oh, that would be good.
That would
Yeah,
be really
that's a good
amazing. So
idea too.
yeah,
Yeah, that'd be
thank
great.
you. So Debbie Hittel says, my dog still shows pretty reactive tendencies when new people come into the home and it scares them. She doesn't want to settle, and if I put her in another room, she goes way over threshold and won't settle.
Mm.
Eek! I hear you.
Big one, big one, big
It's
one.
huge
Yeah,
and it's hard. This was a really hard one, I think,
yeah.
because
So
there are
first
quite
of
a
all,
few things you can do, but they don't work for all dogs all the
not
time.
everything works for all.
Yeah.
Yeah, well put. And full disclosure, this is a big struggle that's still ongoing in my house. Now it's now pretty easy peasy, and he used to be the big challenge. But I got three, and two of them are youngsters, and the energy just goes like way high. And same thing, if I try to put them away, they know what's going on. Sorry, I'm only going mid-sentence.
Bye.
Anyway, so what would be your key tips?
For this,
Mm-hmm.
again, it depends on the dog. If you have a dog who is more comfortable with people on more neutral territory, if you can do an introduction on a neutral territory, that is going to help. But that's not every dog. So for some dogs, that can be even worse.
Mm-hmm.
So for Hattie, for example, who doesn't like it when strange people come into her home, for her, meeting outside works really, really well. And having somebody just playing a few little games with her. I wouldn't have, in any circumstances, have the person that comes in feed the dog because it can cause a huge amount of conflict. You end up with a dog that's like, I want the food, but I don't want to go near the scary person. And that can be really dangerous. You can have you feed the dog, feed your dog when the person's there, or, which gives them that positive association. And then possibly move on to having the person throw food past the dog so the dog gets to move away. That can sometimes help as well. If I mean, the usual thing that we say is, put the dog away. But if your dog is going bananas, that's something I think you're going to have to build up and rehearse when there's not somebody there. And I think that's going to be absolutely crucial is having that, building up that the dog chilling with a nice chew or a bone or something super high value, but in a different room from you. Because if the person comes over and then they get shut away and they think they can't get to you, that can then feel doubly punishing. So I've got a stranger in my house and I'm not allowed to go with my owner. So if you can build up that, just spending a few minutes away during the day as a matter of course, so it becomes more routine, settling away from you, that can sometimes, I think, be pretty helpful. So yeah, what about you? What do you think?
So, um, so first of all, I would want to. We don't know what Nancy's already tried. Um,
Debbie,
Debbie, sorry, Nancy. I mean, sorry,
that's
Debbie.
okay.
But Debbie, what you tried already, and what the pretty reactive tendencies look like, right? So are you worried that your dog will snap and bite a person, or is it more about completely over the top jumping and barking and jumping up
It's a
in
very
people
good
and
point.
things like
Yeah.
that? And then I think something that's often overlooked is rehearsing rehearsing away from the actual event. So I know that in the description it looks like, if I asked you when does it happen, is it in the entrance hall? Is it when they're first at the door, or when is it? Um, you probably say no, no, it's the whole time, but because she finds it hard to settle. But it can totally help to rehearse calm behavior in the entrance hall, right? Lots of forepaws on, and just rewarding the dog for being, forepaws on in the entrance hall. And then how does the dog deal with you coming home or other family members coming home? Is there maybe a bit of excitement there already? Can we start there and lower that excitement? Um, is the is it only about excitement? Is the dog's behavior, are they trying to get, remember when we did the when we did the body language challenge, not challenge, yeah, 3-day challenge thing.
Yeah.
Hmm? And we said some behaviors, the dogs do some behaviors in order to increase distance. And we looked at dog behavior, dog body language and stuff. So they're inviting a dog to come and play or sniff them or whatnot. And then you have behaviors that are more in order to increase the distance. So one was decrease. I don't know what I said before. So some of it is, I want it to be closer, and other is I actually am scared or totally anxious here. I want this to go away. And we all know the dog will lunge forward and bark at the postman, but the consequence of the postman always going away suggests to the dog it goes away. So they're actually going towards the threat, right? They're going towards the trigger. But what they want is they want to increase the distance. They want that thing to go away, that person to go away. So this is quite important to understand what your dog actually wants. Does your dog want to be with the people but finds it just totally over the top exciting, right? Or is the dog doing this because they're scared and they want the people to go away?
Yeah.
And that only you can answer that, or we can help if you show us some video, but it's very difficult. I mean, this is something where what is your feeling? And then we can look at how's the dog actually communicating that. Because here's the thing, what we then do to support the dog depends, right? So a dog that actually is anxious and a bit worried about the people will do better away from the trigger, but maybe still inside. So behind an X pen, behind the baby gate with a long-lasting chew, or even put away in another room, but that might not be the case for your dog because you already signaled that she won't settle. Do you give her a long-lasting enrichment while she's away, he or she, right? That's the next question because we don't know that yet. So that would be the first thing to try if you don't do that yet. If the dog is actually wanting to be with the people, but just can't handle all that excitement, then I roll back to what I said initially. What are greetings looking like with family members? Is there a lot of excitement, or are you rehearsing calm behavior? What's your dog like in the presence of food? I know we had one case before where, everybody was suggesting food scatter, and the people said, no, we can't do that because the dog gets really aggressive around food.
Guardy with food, yeah.
Right? So if you have that, then we would
Mm.
have to deal with that later. So what it boils down to is I can make it in my head, I can make it more and more complicated. It probably isn't as complicated, but what you want to look at is what is your situation? What is it that the dog sets off? What is the behavior? So the antecedent. Then what is the behavior? Is that behavior to increase or decrease the trigger, a distance to the trigger? Is your dog scared or is your dog just overexcited? Because that will, change what we want to do. And then what is the usual consequence? So trigger appears, dog behaves, displays the behavior, and then what happens next? And that's that consequence we want to change depending on what you feel is most rewarding for the dog. So with a dog that actually wants to increase the distance, we have to figure out a way that we can do this that is still making them comfortable. If it's a dog that actually wants to be close, then we rehearse calm behavior. Then we give them a calm behavior to do in the presence of the people. So long-lasting chew, rewards while they're on the bed, things like that. But there need to be some layers, some training skills that we put in place before the visitors arrive, and then also some routines and rituals, maybe that we can put in place. So just as an example of a routine or a ritual, when people come to the house these days, the first Noah is still like over the top. He's like, oh, so exciting. He loves people. He also gets a little bit anxious, I think. It's just that whole
Hmm.
arousal thing going on. And what he used to do and really wants to do is he wants to jump up and really be super close. And then if people pet him there for a while and look at him, he'll actually start growling. So you can, there is definitely some conflict when it comes to,
Yeah.
interaction with people there. But what I've done for a long time is people would appear, I would ask him to hop on a bed and he gets a chew. Right? I did not necessarily police very hard that he stays on the bed with the chew because, with all that emotions on, but I wanted him to hop on the bed and then here's your bone. And then as long as he had his bone, he would follow us around. Sometimes he stayed in the other, it's not another room, just another area of the house kind of a thing, in and out of sight. But as long as he had that chew, and then he settled in, and then when he was done with it, he might come interact a bit. People are now seated, right? And then go back to his chew. Now, somebody comes to the door, he's super excited. First thing he does, he hops on his bed.
Yeah, because he knows that's the deal.
Yeah, and it's just become such a routine. And then I don't always have a bone ready, obviously, if it's unannounced or whatnot. And then I toss him some cookies. He still finds it hard to stay there, but of all the three dogs, he has the best track record with that,
Yeah.
right? And then of course the part of him now not being able to always hold it there is because the others create so much more excitement around him. But anyway, I hope that helps a little bit, Debbie. And please feel free. I mean, I don't know, Julia might have more to say, but feel free when we throw all this stuff at you to go like, okay, this is useful, this is not so useful. Okay, now I've got
Yeah.
these bits.
Pick.
And by all means, come back, right? Write another question. Okay, now give us more background, or I've tried these things, da 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 da. So and then we can give you more detailed feedback too. Do you want to add anything, Julia?
No, I think that's all great. I think we need to move on though, don't we, really?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you want me to read Nicole's?
Yes. Nicole, we've come to you now.
So this is about nighttime routine. And Chopin is pretty good in the mornings, not jumping up and immediately waking if I get up. Sometimes even keep sleeping in my bed a bit while I get in breakfast or brush my teeth. And If he wants to have quiet time from construction renovations, he's starting to go to her room. But bedtime is zoomy time. It's been like this since he's been a puppy. He wants to start playing with his toys. He goes to the treat closet, scratches, and he doesn't always want to go straight to bed. And he does sleep in Nicole's bed, although he has his own bed. But,
Cool.
and then if he hasn't been going to sleep easily, I would usually direct him to his crate, have him settle there for a bit, and he has to prove to Mansley that he doesn't cry if he's in the crate. Okay. Okay.
Interesting question, and I think one that quite a lot of people have really. And that zoomies thing at bedtime is a natural behavior. So we do tend to have dogs being most awake at dawn and dusk because that's what they are programmed to do. In the same way that we are programmed to be asleep when it's dark and awake when it's light. For them, dawn and dusk, boingy
Mm,
boingy. No sleep at night, lots of sleep during the day.
mm.
So you're kind of, working against nature,
Well, it
which
depends
is
on
quite
what time she
tricky.
goes to bed.
Yeah,
Only if she goes to bed at dusk. If she goes to bed like at
true.
9 o'clock at night, then not
Yeah,
really.
true. So, I mean, what I do, this is something that I struggled with quite a bit initially with my two,
Mm,
because, they didn't have any experience of living with humans.
mm.
So, what I would do is, and I think this is where having a routine creates safety and can be really, really blooming useful. So, what we do is before it's bedtime, we'll all settle down and have some quiet time, whether it's watching TV or reading a book or something like that in front, on the sofa. Now, what I did initially, sometimes I would do some calm, settle training on the bed at that time to encourage calmness. That was before we were able to settle ourselves with a chew or something. Now we can settle ourselves with a chew better. I don't have to do that so much. But
So
previously, I did have to work quite a lot harder.
is that you and Matt with a chew or
Yeah, we'll be there.
sorry, I couldn't resist.
Yeah, with a bone.
I'm just imagining you on the couch with these big
Yeah,
bones.
with a chew. I'm thinking about like big toffees or something as well. That would be kind of cool, but that probably wouldn't help me to sleep. So we have to look very carefully about how we are and try to transfer that over to the dogs.
Mm,
Sometimes it can help to have the dogs in a crate or even on a lead or something. So they just have a slight change of picture, which gives them that indication it's settle time. So for some dogs that can, like for Dash, for example, he will go in his crate. That's his kind of, I like to settle. For Hattie, for her, she actually will settle really nicely if I just pop her on a house line. And it just gives her that kind of, all right, we're settling down. It almost gives her permission to settle herself down.
mm.
Because that's something that we rehearsed. We rehearsed putting on her on house line and then doing some chews and that kind of stuff. So whatever you rehearse and whatever you do every day, that's what you're going to get. So you just keep rehearsing that. I don't use that every day now. I only use that if she's particularly giddy about something.
Mm. And I think rehearsing, Nicole, is a key word here
Really
because
is, isn't it?
I wonder how much of this has become a habit.
Yeah.
Because puppy zoomies in the evenings are totally normal, as Julia
Witching
explained,
hour.
right? And then, yeah, there's the witching hour, and then there's also for a lot of puppies the sort of, well, you want me to go to bed, but I'm wide awake now, energy flare-ups and whatnot. So if we have a history of before we go to bed, I go and dig up all the toys and I get all the toys out, and we kind of I know that you're not encouraging him to do that, but if that is what he does every evening, right?
And
Goes to
it
his
can be, can't it?
storybook.
Because especially if we work, we come back
Mm.
from work and that's our interaction time. So yeah.
So yeah, well, that is cool. It's really this is
Mm,
about bedtime, and I think that is when Nicole also goes to bed, right? So this is
yeah.
a bit later. So what I would suggest on top of all those good examples of Julia's is the or suggestions is that you just have a look at what happens. What's the antecedent? What happens
Mm,
that that makes the zoomies start? Because they read us, right? You get ready to brush your teeth, say. Okay. So then what could you do differently to change that? And in come, some of these ideas that Julia put out. Would it be first put him on a lead, get him to settle, even if you get him to settle in the bathroom with you, right?
mm.
We do some downs, right? You lie here on this blanket while I get ready, or outside the bathroom, whatever. But like change your routine around a little
Yeah.
bit.
And do you know one thing I did do? I remember with hats initially, oh, we had a bit of a nightmare at one point with her, and this was ages ago. But we had new next door neighbours move in, and they put a security light that basically shone right into our the back of our lounge. and and it came on automatically when it was like a movement sensor. So when there was cats or birds or whatever prattling about, it would come on, and then that would then, because our dogs sleep downstairs, that would then wake up Hattie, and she would go completely bananas, and it was so infuriating. So I had to, we put blackouts and all that kind of stuff in the end. But when she wouldn't settle and she was really, really giddy, again, I'd put her on a lead and I would just do figure eight walking. And I do that in the house mainly. So just walking round and round and round and
Yeah,
just
that can be
getting
really
her
fun.
moving, but in a really calm way. And that sometimes would really help. That was the kind of when everything else failed
Yeah.
scenario, just to bring her down so that then she could access some of the other stuff.
Like the people that take the baby for a drive in the car.
Exactly that. Yeah, it's kind of the last scenario, last chance saloon kind of thing.
And then Shawnee has a great question in the comments here. Did you see
Oh,
that?
gosh. No, I'm just going in there now.
Shawnee
Hi,
wants to
Shawnee.
know what kind of shoes are you using? I need ideas, please.
Oh my
Kelby,
gosh, that is
PPLO,
challenging.
surgery. Oh, I'm so sorry. I had an accident a few weeks ago. It's been very
Yeah,
challenging.
what a challenge. What do I use for shoes? I use all sorts. I mean, I use things like, stuffed topples and that kind of thing as well. But in terms of the actual chews, I use pig's ears. It's all natural stuff. I use the inner ears for pigs. We do quite a lot of pork because Hattie's got a bit of a sensitive tummy. But I also will do things like pizzles and beef muscle chews and, you know, scalps from cows and all sorts of stuff. But I like quite hard chews. I like quite hard chews, but that are quite easy to access because that way you get that proper gnawing, which is what you want to help them to settle their little beans down. But yeah, for me, it's all natural chews. If I'm lucky and I've got some nice, fresh, yummy bones in, I use those as well, meaty bones.
Yeah, I do meaty bones. I do marrow bones. If there's a lot of marrow, I might push that out, especially a puppy, right? I might push some
Yeah, bit
out.
rich.
And meaty bones for sure. Um, rib, rib bones.
Ribs are really good. I like a rib.
Yeah, and then I definitely do a lot of the frozen. Some my dogs all get their lunch in a frozen, like I put the raw in the frozen in the topple and then freeze that. Um, Kong too. I find that my guy Stevie is a strong chewer. She quite enjoys the Kongs, but now I don't know, they get a bit frustrated. They leave them.
Mm,
Can't get at the stuff on the inside because the opening scenarios, the toppers are nice. They can really get there.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then around here, very common is hoof. So if you're not icked out by that,
But they
that's
smell though.
you smell. I
I
get
can't be
used
doing with hooves. They smell too bad.
to. I
Dried
tell you, I
fish
had some.
skin's another one that you can use, isn't it? Dried fish skin. That works quite nicely.
How long does that hold?
It depends. If you get something like a really, big fish like a cod
Right.
or a
Oh, right.
salmon and they plait the skins together, they
Mm,
can last quite a while.
really?
Or they're really like compressed into a cube. They last quite well as well. They
Yeah.
don't last as long as, something like a big beefy muscle chew, but
Mm.
they do last.
And then, of course, things like a snuffle ball, right?
Mm,
If standing over a snuffle mat is not an option right now, then something that they can access, between their paws, like a bowl full with toys, and they're easy to make. If you Google YouTube, you find something. Yeah. Um, and then I don't know which season it is for you. I would also just freeze a lot of things like bone broth and yogurt and stuff like that. So boil a carrot in, that's usually a puppy trick, right? Boil a carrot in broth or stock or something, and then freeze that carrot.
freeze it, yeah.
Um, yeah, I hope that
Cool.
helps.
Do you know what? We've been talking now for 35 minutes. We haven't actually started anything that we planned yet.
Shall we? What shall we do? Shall we do that then next time rather than rushing through it? Or what do you think? Or shall we? I don't mind.
What do you think, people? Should we go for it? Yeah, we've got people are still with us. Let's go for it.
Okay. So Nicole, I like that idea about the blanket, something that's only out when it's bedtime. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that's a good idea.
go what is it? Slots in with for
That's
Julia.
quite similar to my just putting Hattie on this particular house line, and she knows when that's on. It's chill time.
So here's my suggestion. Let's take the first three of our list of seven, and then we do the other four next time. How's that?
Okie
Another
dokie.
time.
Okie
Or
dokie.
or if you want, you can pick your favorite one, and then I pick one, and then you pick one. How's that?
Okay, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. It's a good idea.
You can go first.
Oh, thanks. Okay, my first one is that your own emotions affect your dog's behavior. Is this true or is this false? Your own emotions affect your dog's behavior. In the comments, people, if you
I
think it's
know.
true, you can either write true or you can put a pineapple. And if you think it's false, you can either write false or you can put a lemon.
Okay, let me post one too. So your own emotions affect your dog. Yes or no?
True or
Yes,
false, false or true?
what's it true? And true means pineapple, right?
True is pineapple, false is lemon.
God, it's not so easy on YouTube to find the pineapples, eh?
I know, I was just doing the same, but you're on it, so that's cool. Sue has put in a pineapple.
Excellent.
Barbara's put two pineapples, but I don't know if that was for you to copy or whether that's because that's
Well, it was for me to copy.
pineapple, 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 pineapple. Barbara's now put a lemon. She's not very decisive.
Just in case anybody.
Okay, so of course it is indeed true. It is a fact. Our dogs are very much emotional sponges. They read body language. They're in tune with how we're breathing, our tone of voice, also how we smell. So if we're stressed or whatever, the way that our sweat smells will change if we get stressed, for example, or if we're super duper relaxed. So it's all about co-regulation. Their neurons are mirroring ours and all that kind of stuff. So yes, good example would be, so if you do you remember when Barbara was over and I got my knickers in a knot on that Thursday morning? So yeah, Hattie picked up on that immediately, unsettled, barky barky, irritating. But then when Barbara and Matt were super calm, of course that gave her the opportunity to recover.
Oh,
So
that was when I arrived that day.
yeah,
Mm. Mm.
yeah. So
Mm.
actually, yes, when you first arrived,
Mhm.
Barbara, of course, understanding dogs, super cool, super relaxed. My dogs were super cool with her.
I never went up to them, right?
No, she totally ignored them. I think you had hats on the lead at one point because Matt was doing some photos, but that was it. You
Mm.
didn't really interact, and then they're like, "Oh well, you're pretty boring.
And by then we'd already walked a bit.
We'll be
We've
your mate now." And
uh, right,
and you did bring Biltong into the house, and that helped enormously, especially with Hattie. Like every time
right
Barbara
there.
went to the fridge, Hattie's like, "Can I come?"
No, that was funny. That is really, really true.
Yeah.
Mm.
So anyway, so yes, that was a truie. What's your one?
Mine is all dogs need lots of exercise to be calm. True or not true?
Are we doing pineapple and lemon?
Do pineapple and lemon. If you feel that's true, all dogs need lots of exercise to be calm. Put in a pineapple. If you disagree with the statement, put a lemon in. All dogs need lots of exercise to be calm.
Who's going to be first?
Mhm.
Barbara, why did you put a tomato in the chat?
Just for fun.
You're a mad woman. Totally off your trolley. Love it.
I
Sue's put a
literally do.
lemon. Well, she's written lemon.
Yes.
Okay.
So lemon means you don't agree. All
You
dogs
don't
need
agree that all dogs need lots of exercise.
fetch and frame. Welcome. Welcome,
Another
fetch and frame.
lemon. Dog
I don't
training and
know.
photography. I wonder where you are.
Yes. What names behind?
Nicole's put a lemon.
Okay,
So
cool.
we're kind of disagreeing on the
Yeah, not we are disagreeing with you guys, but all of us
we
are
as in our lovely group
all of
of
us.
gorgeousness.
Yeah.
Yes.
You say, and indeed, you guys are all totally on it. Not all dogs need lots of exercise to be calm. In fact, it can backfire, right? Over exercise can totally backfire. So I know that, I mean, with puppies, you get it a lot
Yeah.
that, when they're tired, they get the zoomies.
Mm-hmm.
When they're tired, they get bitey, and all those things. So that shows us, and that's true for the adult dog as well. So what exercise does, of course, it's important to exercise our dogs. Don't get us
Yes, definitely.
But with running and exercising and stuff, also comes an increase in arousal, and that means stress hormones. So, what we want for the dogs is to be able to get aroused, but then also calm down again, right? And then when we walk them, when we give them exercise, we want to make sure that we mix both, we find a balance, between running and then also downtime and more sniffing and so on. So nowadays, like we structure our walk accordingly. So when we first get out of the car, we have our little cookie ritual. I think I read about that before. Then the dogs can run around. Whether or not lately we've been letting them loose pretty early. And then I said to John, we have to make sure that they actually move a little bit first because the youngsters get so wild straight away. I don't want them to get hurt each other, themselves. Anyway, and then we get to an area where they tend to sniff quite a bit, and they're normally potty there too, and there's a lot of sniffing, and sometimes I hide a toy there, for now on, and then he can go and find that toy and so on. Then we go, and then we've changed our route a little bit so that we have another area where there's lots of spots where they can sniff because now they've run quite a lot, right? And so then they sniff a bit, and then they run a bit again, and then we often put the two youngsters back on the lead, even though we're in the middle of nowhere, out in the dunes, where it's totally safe for them to run off lead. But I want them to learn to, enjoy that part of the walk as well. So then
Yeah.
we do some, loose leash walking exercise. I might toss the toy just for Nawa, and Stevie gets a cookie, for not chasing after the toy, learning to wait her turn, or gets, not to intersect, whatever. No, what she wants to do, she wants to herd the others, or she wants to steal the toy from Nawa, and she needs to learn, other things instead. And so we do that sort of thing. Even though we could easily just let the dogs go for a walk, let them mind their own business, come back to the car, load them all up. But
Yeah.
we want to go up and down throughout the walk. Yeah, yeah. So, what would you like? I mean, what can you do on your walks? Or if you come home from a walk, is this the other thing? Very often I found I come back from the walk and then my dogs would be completely bonkers. And I don't, because I walk them in the morning, there isn't a meal to come back to. Lots of people prep their dinner, take the dogs for a walk, and then they come home and then they get their dinner, which is kind of a natural,
It's a
hand
natural chill
chasing
out
kind of a
time, isn't it?
thing. And then we come back and then we get our food. So that doesn't really work for me. So I used to give them like a licky mat or something. But what I've done recently is that it's just naturally occurred, I don't know, happen, is that they get out of the garage. We do a treat scatter there's a bit of lawn between the garage door and then our front door. And they all go snuffling up, you know, doing that. And then when we all get into the kitchen, and we want to make our coffee and breakfast and whatever, they're quite happy to settle because they go from um, isn't it a sympathetic nervous system to
Hmm.
parasympathetic nervous system responses, and then they're kind of, because they are tired, they run around and everything, but when they first come home, they're still so wound up from all the adrenaline and so on. So that gives them an opportunity. And just sitting in the kennels in the kennels in the car, it's a really short drive. That doesn't do it. Yeah. So what do you guys do? What do you guys do too? What's your favorite relaxing, calming activity for your dog? Hi, Fetch and Frame says, hi, I usually join under my personal account. So who are you, Fetch and
Yeah,
Frame?
you're like in disguise. You're a mystery person. It's very exciting. Mystery human.
Is anybody still here? They've all gone. Everybody's gone.
Nice. Few still.
Nobody is sharing anything. Eh.
It's just that little lag, isn't it? Little lag.
That's not a little lag anymore. That's a long
Big
lag.
lag.
Ah, Nicole to the rescue. She says, lucky licky mats, and Greek yogurt or kefir.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great idea. Because that's really nice for their stomachs as well, isn't it?
Mm, totally. Kong. Oh yeah, lucky mats or Kong. Yeah, yeah, I do that too. Yes. I
Super.
often do peanut butter. I shouldn't do so much peanut butter. It's just so convenient. We get this nice brand here that has no salt and sugar in it. But yeah.
Yeah, I use that for humans as well. It's quite nice actually because the brand of peanut butter that I like is basically just zhuzhed up peanuts and nothing
Yes,
else.
yes, same here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which means it's safe for me and it's safe for the dogs too.
Cool. Great. So let's save more for next time. Or do you want to do another one?
Yeah, no, let's save it for next time, I think, probably.
Who says Remy likes to sit alongside of me for a face scratch with an occasional cookie? Nice.
Nice, yes, love it. And that's that co-regulation, isn't it?
Mm. And I've been in heaven of late. We had quite a few, what do you call it? TV evenings or afternoon. Yeah, it was so cold. We had a fire and watched on the weekend and watched some TV in the afternoon with all the dogs in the lounge, all the dogs snoozing. I had one dog, some of you remember what a struggle it's been with Noah and Falky. So the one on the couch next to me snuggling in on the one side, the other one on the other side, the Fiegel like on top. I have some ridiculous pictures. Really, that's really bliss for me having all the dogs there. Mm. Anyway,
Beautiful. Beautiful. Right, we will love you and leave you.
you're very welcome, Shawnee. Says thanks for the chew suggestions. And I hope Kelby recovers soon.
I do too. Yeah, let us know how he's getting on.
Yeah, yeah.
What was I going to say? So I'm not around next week. on Monday and Tuesday because I'm going to do some lovely in-person ACE free work stuff with Sarah Fisher, which I'm so excited. And Hattie's coming with me. We're having a proper couple of girls' days away, and then the boys are staying at home.
So, we might treat you to some recorded something. We're not quite
Yes,
happening next week, but there might not be a um, live session like there usually is. Nicole says, "Oh, thank you so much, Nicole. That's
thank you,
fab."
Nicole. That's perfect.
Yeah. So, but there'll be something's gonna happen. Something
Yeah,
will be.
there'll be something somewhere. So we will see you then, and we'll be back live in 2 weeks
Yeah.
anyway.
And we'll let you know tomorrow who won our little party contest.
Yes, so
Everybody did it.
I've put a comment and I've tagged everyone in the group. There's still time to enter.
Yes,
So
all
if
of
you
today.
haven't entered the competition, which gives you a month's free access to our mastermind circle, do that because it's really well worthwhile. Yes, when I get back, Nicole, in the mastermind, there will be lots more ACE going on. Don't you worry about that.
That's just ace.
I know. See what we did there. Right, guys, we'll see you next
Okay.
time.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. You guys all rock. Thank you so much.
See you then.
Bye.